In this video, I'm going to analyze a driving test report sheet. I'm going to go through the mistakes that this girl made in her test, and this is to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes in your test. So I'm going to try and keep this one quick, maybe under 4 or 5 minutes if possible, to make it easier to watch and easier to digest. And before we get into it, I just want to say a big thank you to anybody out there who has been supporting me with donations by PayPal or Revolut. Sometimes I'm not able to send a message of thanks, but I really appreciate any support. And if you would like to support me, the links are there in the description and in the first pinned comment. So let's get started with the video, and we're going to have a look at the report sheet now first of all. So as you can see, there's not that many mistakes. There's a couple of grade 2s there. 6 altogether, and of course the grade 3, which is the serious one. So she had a problem with the reverse around the corner, which I'm going to get to, but apart from that, it wasn't really that bad. And the one thing that we can clearly take from this at first glance is that if she can just get a grip of the reverse around the corner, she should be absolutely fine next time. Let's start with the reaction to hazards. So why did she lose marks on hazards? Well, it was because she was doing the speed bumps or speed ramps too quickly. The tester said that she was doing the speed bumps at around 40, 45, sometimes 50 kilometers an hour, where the tester was wanting her to slow down and to change her driving behavior because of the ramp. Because remember, a ramp or a speed bump is there for a reason. It's to slow you down, to make the road safer, and maybe it's also because there's a pedestrian crossing there. But either way, you have to adjust your speed downwards when you see a speed bump. So watch out for these signs here. Make sure you slow down early and gradually, and make sure you're aware of the different types of ramps, because some ramps will require a slower speed, while other ramps will require you to slow down, but not by too much. I have made a great video on how to deal with ramps. I will leave a link in the description. This is the thumbnail here, so make sure you check it out. The next mark she lost was on progress on the straight. Now this means she was going too slow on a straight road. She says it's because she wasn't sure about the speed limit in parts of town. She wasn't sure whether it was 30 or whether it was 50. I think because she was going through areas where there were houses, she misinterpreted that as being a 30-kilometer zone when it wasn't. Now, it's important that you drive in a way that reflects the conditions. Just because you see a few houses doesn't mean it's a special 30-kilometer zone. Now, it might be, but it's not always going to be the case. That's why you have to watch out for the signs. I have made a video on how you can handle roads where you might not be sure whether it's 30 or 50. So have a look at that. I'll leave a link in the description, and this is the current thumbnail for that video. So make sure you check it out. The next mark here is on gears. She said that she was coming to a sharp bend on the uphill, and when she went down the gears, it was a little bit late and she cut out when she was trying to go from third to second. Now, I suspect that she tried to go from third to second, but she ended up in fourth gear, and then when she slowed down, suddenly the car kind of chucked and struggled and probably stalled. I imagine that's the reason why. But like everything else, you have to plan ahead and prepare and slow down early and gradually. And that's going to be the best way to deal with ramps, bends, corners, junctions. Check out this video on how to use the brake as well as the clutch to give you more control approaching junctions, especially downhill junctions. There will be a link in the description. Next, we have the reverse around the corner. So she wasn't looking behind enough. She was looking in the mirrors too much. The tester said she needed to look over both shoulders to have better all-round observation. She was also too wide. So let's look into that a bit more. So on the reverse around the corner, this is her starting point here, and this would be the end point here. This is the corner here, okay? Now, the problem started when she was reversing here and it came time to turn. She ended up being really, really wide. According to the email, she was practically on the other side of the road like that. And the tester actually said to her, okay, that's fine, you can move off now from here, from this position. So she didn't have a chance to actually come around like this and to straighten up the car. She was asked to move on from this position, and off she went like that. So obviously she completely misjudged the corner. And what I always say to learners is that when you're on the corner, and normally when the curb disappears from your side mirror, you would start a turn. and then just usually turn slowly depending on the angle. But if you cannot see the curb in your left mirror here, or in this position, or anywhere along the bend, if you cannot see the curb in the left mirror, then keep turning, because at least then you know you can't hit the curb. If you can't see the curb, you can't hit it. So she needed to keep turning more to keep her a little bit tighter, and then around about here then, when you're at this kind of angle, the curb will reappear, and then you can straighten up like that, and back you go then. And that's why. So she went way too wide there, misjudged it completely, probably down to not getting enough practice on the reverse and not practicing enough different corners, because I always think it's important to practice different types of corners and not just the one. Always remember, you can email me danetai@gmail.com if you have any questions about driving, or if you would like me to analyse your driving test report sheet. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. Agus slán go fóill.